Hey, it's LSFT here today, and today we're here to look at this Euro NCAP safety rating. So it's funny that they said it's a 2022 Lexus RX, but then when you look at the picture of the car, it's actually a 2023 model. So it's the RX 450h Plus that they've actually tested this time. So they've tested the plug-in hybrid for the Lexus RX, and some may think we don't get that in North America. Yes, we don't get that today, but we will be getting it soon, sometime in 2023. But I would say the test is relevant to the RX 350, the 500h, and also the 450h Plus. And this is just the European testing standards, whereas we will have to wait for the North American one to come out. But it's a very good reference to see how safety this new RX is. And in this video, I would also compare it to the NX, which is the newly redesigned in 2022, and see what is the differences between the two, because essentially they are using the same Lexus Safety System 3.0, so numbers shouldn't be that far away. So the good thing is, you can see it got a 5-star rating. Ignore the 2022 because essentially it is the 2023. And then we look at the four main categories that Euro NCAP actually uses. So the adult occupant got a rating of 90%. The child occupant will get 87. The vulnerable road users is 89%, and the safety assist is 91%. So you go down here, we would see Lexus RX 2.5 PHEV executive trim, really. 5-door SUV, 2022, which is because I think it's a 2022 right now, so they're using it as 2022, but it should be a 2023 model year. And the curb weight is 2124 kilograms. And it's a large off-road class as they've defined it as. So we scroll down. Let's see what they have here. So they say that the front driver, passenger, rear. So it does say that the passenger does not have a knee airbag. And if we look at the rear, there is no side chest airbag or a side pelvis airbag, and everything is also included as part of the testing. So we continue to scroll down. We'll look at this and say, okay, so child protection, passenger, there is no ISO fix or integrated CRS, same as the rear here. So we do know that it's an iOS fix standard that Lexus uses, and the safety assist seatbelt reminder is all on all of it. And then there's no active bonnet, and then everything is fitted as standard as part of this PHEV. And here is the test. So the adult occupant, it got a 90%, 34.3 points. And what you can see is we got a marginal in the front impact of the driver, and yellow here, I think this means adequate. I think the color's a little bit different here, but I'm thinking this is adequate for the legs. And you can see this is marginal and adequate on the side here. And if you look at the back seat is marginal and adequate. So the front impact, 13.8 out of 16. Then if we look at the lateral impact, the driver seems to be all good. On the side pull, it does get adequate. And you can see the far side excursion. I think it hit the seat here. But I'm surprised because it actually does have a side airbag. I'm assuming it did not open because there was no occupant on the passenger side. But it did pour in this side airbag, like this middle airbag that they had, because it seemed like either they didn't hit the airbag or they hit something else. Looking at the rear impact, everything is green. It's 3.7 out of 4. So we scroll down and we see that everything is available. Okay. So the passenger compartment of RX remains stable in the front offset test, and the dummies read good protection for the knees and for the both driver and the passenger dummies. So I'm going to focus on the area where it was poor, and in this paragraph it actually says that the control of the excursion, the extent of which the body is thrown to the other side of the vehicle when it is hit from the far side, it was adequate. The RX has a countermeasure to mitigate against occupant-to-occupant injuries in such impacts. The system worked well in Euro NCAP's tests, with good protection of the occupant's head. However, Lexus did not demonstrate that the system would provide a similar level of protection in all cases. So when you look at that, it means that it said poor, but then it said it actually demonstrated well. So I'm not too sure if it was poor or it's just because it didn't demonstrate well, and that's why it actually got a poor rating. Let's move on. So the child occupant, it got 43 points, 87%. So if we look at the front and lateral, it actually got perfect points. For safety features, that's where it actually got knocked down points. So if you look at it, it only got 7 out of 13. And I think it's also because it only supported the ISO and fix and the eye size and not the other standards. Okay, and then if you look at the CRS installation check, it actually got full points, which is good. Okay, so this is the universal belt CRS. So everything is green, which is good. So we scroll down here. We see that everything is green, which means it is all good. Okay, so the vulnerable road users. So this is really saying that when you actually hit pedestrian or bicyclists or anybody. So from a pedestrian standpoint, 30.2 out of 36 points were given. And if you look at the overall, it was 89%. So this chart just says where it's good and it's adequate or it's poor. So from a safety system, I got 18 out of 18. So here the AEB emergency braking for the pedestrian, I got 9 out of 9 points. So got full points on that. Nighttime for bicyclists, it's actually got full points too. Now we look at the speed assistance. It got 2.4 out of 3. It didn't say where it got deducted, but it's still considered quite high. Occupant status monitoring 3 out of 3, so this is full points. Driver monitoring got 1 point. Lane departure, lane support got 3.5 out of 4. The AEB car to car, it got 5.8 out of 6. And then safety assist systems, it got 14.6 points, which is 91%. Okay. Also here is that it performed well. The seatbelt reminder system fitted as standard. Okay. The lane support system gently corrects the path if it is drifting out of the lane and also intervenes if some more critical situations. The speed assistant identifies a local speed limit and the driver can choose to allow the limiter to automatically set by the system. Okay. Not a lot of comments here. So here we see that it actually showed the 3 models, the 450H, 350, and the 500. And it just says the rating applies. And it got a 5-star rating. Okay, so we're at the end of reviewing the RX. So now let's go and do a comparison to the NX. So after seeing the Lexus RX, the 2023 model, we're going to now compare the 2022 NX with the 2023 RX in the Euro NCAP rating. So you can see that I have on the left side the new RX and on the right side the new NX, even though it's a 2022 model. So the only difference is the RX, they use the PHEV, which is a 450h plus, versus on the NX, they use the 350h, the hybrid, to do the comparison. So when you look at the adult ratings, the NX actually gets 1% higher. For the child, same. One thing that you've noticed is that the vulnerable road user, it actually has been much better in the RX. That's 6 points higher for the new RX. And the safety assist system, 91% on both sides, which is actually quite good because it's the Lexus safety system plus 3.0, so I did expect that the safety assist would be exactly the same. So now let's scroll down. So let's have a look at the differences. And I think the biggest difference we're going to see is the vulnerable road users. So let me just scroll down and just do a quick comparison. So you can see here that this is like for like. Even though this has two X's, there's actually does not apply on the NX. So we continue to scroll down and we can look at here. You would notice here, there's one difference here is on their tests of the AEB, the automatically emergency brake pedestrian reverse, this was actually not tested on the 350h. But it does say that it's an option as part of the safety pack. So meaning if you have a fully loaded NX, this will probably still be fitted. And this is one reason probably why that the difference between the NX and the RX in the ratings. You can see that everything is the same. So we scroll down and let's look at these little pictures here. So you can see here, they look like carbon copies of each other, right? You can see it's marginal and it's adequate here. Versus on the NX, it's actually quite surprising. Marginal, but it's actually good on the legs. On this side, you would see it's adequate, but then you can see the RX. For some reason, it's marginal. If we look down here, it's like for like. And the rear impact is like for like too. But even when you look at this, 13.8 versus 14.2, and I think that is the drops of this leg, but then this also compensates the difference between the marginal and adequate. So overall, definitely the front impact on the NX seems to be a little bit better than the RX. And then 14.7 versus 14.8. So I don't know where that difference is. I don't know how they score it, but if you have like for like, maybe the RX has a little bit of advantage, and that's where that 0.1 point is added. But even when you look at the rear impact, 3.7 versus 3.8. So I don't know how that works, but it all adds up to just 1% and 0.3 points difference. So we scroll down here, you can see there's not much of a difference. The comments probably will have some differences here, but I've gone through the RX one already. So if you look at it, 34.3 versus 34.6, that 1%. So let's scroll down. So when you look at the child, it's only really a 0.1 point different. So 87 is the same. And you can see the difference of that 0.1 is really in this crash test performance. It's only 0.1 difference. And I do see the difference. And that is really the neck of the 10-year-old is adequate. Whereas in the RX, it's good. You can also see here, they got safety features 7 and 7. Same features, no difference. And you can see here, installation check 1212 is the same. And here is the same. It looks like a carbon copy of the report. So same thing here. It's only that neck that knocked off that 0.1 points. So now we scroll to the vulnerable road users, and this is where we have a significant difference because you can see 83% on the NX and 89% on the RX. So when you look at this, you can see that the head impact is 18.2 versus 17.4. The pelvis and the leg impact is actually the same. So let's scroll down and see what else is there that's different. So we scroll down and we can see that this is where I think there's 2 points that were knocked off because of not having that option of the rear reversing. And if you had it, I would say you would still get 9 out of 9 because this one is actually missing that 2 points. So if that was the case, then it's 47.2 versus 48.2. So overall, that's one feature that was missed on the RX on the 350h that's causing this discrepancy. So if we look at the AEB cyclists, the RX got full points, whereas the NX got knocked off 0.3 points. Don't know the reason why behind that, because if you look at it, they actually have this similar functionality in the safety system. Okay, it's probably when they tested it, the NX actually was either hit the cyclist, and that's probably where it actually got knocked off or it actually touched it. Lexus has improved the software a bit to make sure that that does not happen. It's good to see that things have improved. We continue to scroll down. The safety assists, which is 91. It's actually funny that the NX actually has 0.1 points higher than the RX. And where that got reduced, and that is the speed assistance, 2.4 versus 2.5. And it's 3, 2, 1. So there's no difference anywhere else. And let's see, scroll down here. The lane support, same thing. And the AEB emergency braking car to car is 5.8 to 5.8. So the LSS 3.0 essentially did its work, and it's probably the same system. So then we go down here to the last page again, and you would see that this was tested with the 350h E4, and it actually got the same rating, which is a 5-star rating. So there we have it. We have compared the NX with the RX, and you can see that it's really been since March to December, and it's using the same Lexus safety system, so you would expect that both systems would probably be performing as well. So I would have expected that the RX with a larger vehicle probably would have performed better in certain situations, but when you look at it, essentially they are the same. The vulnerable road users is an improvement on the RX, but overall safety, I would say it's the same. It's as safe as you can really get it. You can probably get higher percentages in some areas, but hopefully as they continue to improve the systems, that all 4 categories will reach 90%. But definitely, it's very close. Hope you find that this video is useful, and hopefully if you're waiting for your RX, it's good to know that the RX is a safe vehicle. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you again next time. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please comment, like, and share this video. If you'd like to see more videos like this, you can subscribe to my channel and press that alert button to get notified when new videos are posted. If you'd like to support the channel, you can definitely provide a super thanks. I'll see you guys again next time in the next video.